Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are starting a new season of 9-Day Fiance, period. Nothing after it. This is the original series. Season 8, episode 1. So we are introduced with to 4 couples, which 2 of them we've met in previous series. So let's start off with Brandon, who's 27, from Virginia, and Julia, I didn't get her name, so I think she's probably 25, and she's from Russia. So one of the things you notice about Brandon early on in the segment is that he's very close to his family. Even though he's technically not an only child, he's the only child between his mom and his dad. So I guess at some point his parents realized that, like, hey, he's not really dating, he's not really gonna meet somebody, so they signed him up for a dating app, which he didn't do anything with that. And then he ended up meeting Julia through a friend. I still don't understand how that happened, but whatever. So they were together for 5 months when he popped the question when they were in Iceland, and she said yes. So, like, and they live happily ever after, or what you would think. They live happily ever after is not the case. One of the things that Julia doesn't know about is that she doesn't know their living situation. That she's gonna come to America, but they're going to live with his parents. And the reason for that, he has a very valid explanation, which he needs to explain to her that he spent money not only on the K-1 visa process, but he was paying for her flights and accommodations at multiple places, and that adds up, and he's around $10,000 in debt. He works as a pest control person, and then he also helps his family on the farm, so it doesn't seem like he's making that kind of money for him to get out of debt and then move out. But that's what he's hoping for. One of the stipulations for her staying with them is that they're sleeping in separate rooms. I don't know. His family is acting very old school, where, like, maybe if your son was like 22, maybe, but your son is 27. He's closer to 30 versus 20. They can sleep in the same room. When he was traveling to Russia, to Iceland, to France, where did you think they were staying? They were definitely not staying in separate rooms. So I don't like the idea of them wanting for them to be in separate rooms, and I don't like the idea that Brandon doesn't want to tell Julia, because this is something I need to know. I'm thinking I can just do whatever I want, me and my man, but it's actually not. So I feel like there needs to be a conversation, and not a conversation when I'm in America. So another thing that she's aware of, but she probably wouldn't be happy with, is that Brandon's parents are coming with them to go pick her up. They seem to live in a smaller town, so they're going to, like, a major city, and his mom bribed her way through the process because she offered to pay for everything. And that's why he, I guess, allowed this. And while they're going to be in that other city, they're going to be sharing room. So I don't know what makes a difference, because it's not going to stop them from having sex. So if you wanted to do that, that's not going to stop them. I don't know why parents think that, like, if I create distance, it'll be good. Not necessarily. So we'll see what happens with that. And then I don't remember how the question came up with birth control and whether they're being safe and, like, everyone protecting themselves. Well, Brandon's like, we ain't on birth control, and we ain't protecting ourselves. It is what it is. And I'm like, Brandon, first of all, don't tell your parents that. And his mom went into, like, protective mother mode, overbearing mother mode. and insisted on calling her doctor and trying to set something up with. I felt like that was a little bit too much. She overstepped her boundaries. She's on the phone with the doctor trying to make an appointment and stuff like that. And I feel like that's something you have a conversation with. But I feel like you're too, maybe for Brandon you can talk to him that way because he's your child, but you can't be talking to all the kids' child like that. She's aware of birth control, she's aware of what it is, but she chooses not to use it, and she doesn't have to. Why aren't you going after your son about wearing a condom? Because he also has that option to protect himself, and he chooses not to do it. So please don't just look at the girl. Speak with your child. And your child also does not want to make the right decision. So, like, but I feel like his mom is definitely going to be a problem, and Brandon seems like a pushover. But also Brandon, I could tell that he understands that his mom is going to be a problem. So next we have Jovi, 29, from New Orleans, and Tiara's 25 from the Ukraine. So Jovi has this robotics underwater job, which has him out on a boat for 4 weeks, and then he's able to come home for 4 weeks. And during that time, he's a very outgoing individual. He would just go travel. Well, on one of his trips, he ended up meeting Yara, and they ended up kind of developing this relationship. 6 months into the relationship, Yara has gotten pregnant, and that kind of had his life flash before him because it's a very serious thing, and it's a very life-changing event. Unfortunately, she lost the baby, which I feel like he might have felt relief in that like moment of like, okay, I don't have to kind of like turn my life upside down. But then he also decided that like I still love her and I want to kind of continue with this process, because it seemed like he only did the process because she was pregnant. And then he also at one point got cold feet and was unsure of the relationship, which he was wondering if he should continue this process, but obviously he has because they're on the show. He's also close with his mom, but I feel like not as close. He has more say. He, as he describes, is a free spirit, and he kind of wants to do his own thing. That's fine and dandy. When you have the money, you do your own thing, but your circumstances are changing a bit because you have somebody that's depending on you. I don't think he's really getting that. So another problem they're going to have to face is when Yara comes down, they'll only be together for 2 weeks before he's gone for 4 weeks. So they're not going to have the full 90 days to be with each other because of his job. Not because of, what's her name? Tracy, or what's her name? I forgot. The girl who went on a month to go on a trip to Costa Rica to study stuff. Like, no, he's going because he has work. So they're not going to spend that much time together. He's explained Yara as she's pretty high maintenance. She's a makeup artist. She's about her material stuff, which I feel like seems good and dandy when you're on vacation, but in the real life, in the real world, I don't know how that's gonna work. She seems a little bit demanding because she demanded, or she insisted that he bring flowers for her when she comes. So then he brings the flowers, and she's kind of like making these jabs of like how cheap he is, and I do understand the whole like, you took 30 hours to fly here and you're very tired and it's not something you want to do, but oh well, you did it, whatever. So she's complaining a bit, but then she says like, I'm tired, I've been traveling, I'm gross, like I need to go just shower and go to bed. But then here Jovi is like, oh, go to bed, I was gonna take you out, we're gonna have nice food. I'm like, her plane landed at 10. When are we planning on I know New Orleans don't sleep, but when are we planning on doing all this stuff? I'm not trying to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I understand that you don't have to work, but like, no. He should have just let her go lie down and go to her bed. Like, it's her first day. Like, don't overwhelm her with all this stuff. One of the things that kind of was alarming to me is that you don't know if she doesn't know if she loves him, and that's something that is very alarming and could be trouble. Sorry, it's just my dog. That could be trouble in the long run, because like you agreed to marry someone, to be with someone forever, and if you don't know if you love them, that could be a problem. So next we have an old face from a previous season. We have Rebecca, 49, from Georgia, and Zied is 27 from, I don't know, I can't even pronounce, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the name. A country in Africa. We're gonna say that. So you meet up with Rebecca, and she's a GM for I guess like a fast food restaurant, a chicken joint, and she got this job because she needed to also get money to pay for Zied's visa, K1's visa process. She needed something, I guess, more stable, because before, when we met her, she was a private investigator, where that job might seem like it's not fixed, it's very variable, it's all over the place. So I can understand why she had to get a job. They met on Facebook, and then that's how they got together. She's been married 3 times. She's been through this kind of K1 process. I don't think it was exactly K1 visa, but she met a man in another country. She married him to take him back over. He was also young as well. That marriage didn't last. It seemed like he was just there for money. Rebecca was known for over-filtering her photos to make herself appear younger and more youthful. When she met Zied, there was no problems. He liked her as is. So a hiccup with this relationship. So Zied has to first get approved and do the interview, but Zied doesn't know that they're going to be most likely living with her daughter Tiffany and Tiffany's boyfriend Micah, I believe his name is. And due to the fact that her lease is up but she can't find another place, I don't understand that whole concept, because like, don't you just like renew your lease? I can understand if she wants to just save money, but she made it seem like she doesn't have enough time. She's been very busy. So I'm just like, okay. So Zied is not gonna like that because of his conservative Muslim customs, and to have your fiance live with another man even though he's not her man, I guess is rubbing them the wrong way. Her daughter doesn't seem very supportive. I understand, because this is not the first time she's done this, and it's kind of like repeating itself again, and she's kind of like over it. Okay, so then last but not least, we have Mike, 35, from Washington, Natalie, 30, I believe she's 35, from Ukraine. So the last time we caught up with them, they were having this major fight, and he left. He said, okay, you know what, I'm done. I think, no, she gave him back the ring, so it was like the engagement's done, and it was just kind of like, we're over. Well, it doesn't seem like they're really over, because they're still on the show and they're still talking. she can't really trust him because of a situation where, I don't know, he was in a room, or he was in a place with a girl that's like getting married. I don't know. There was a whole situation to tell all. And that's why she doesn't trust him. My whole thing is like, can they make this work? Because it seems like they have like a whole heap of problems. And she gets her visa, and he looks like he's like shocked. Like, what the hell? I thought this would take much longer. He's a little annoyed with it. She has 20 days to get down there, so she has to get down there like ASAP, and he's kind of like, he seems bothered, like, oh my god, like, she's coming down. I'm sure he's somewhat happy to see her, but they both don't show it. Then she brings up that, so he stays in the house with his uncle. She brings up that she doesn't feel comfortable with the uncle in the house. And I'm like, what the heck? Wasn't Mike staying in the house with her mother? I was like, what's the problem? So then, she said she didn't feel comfortable, but Mike seems like he didn't even want to hear that either. He seems like he's just like, I'm not having it. So, they already can't see eye to eye. And then she asks, are you going to be nice to me? It sounds like some kind of abusive, whether it's like verbal abusive or mentally abusive, like relationship. Like, what kind of questions are you guys asking? Like, are you not gonna hit me? Do you promise? Like, it just kind of sounds like in the same realm. Like, that's not the type of questions you ask to your fiance who you want to marry. So I could already tell, from they started the beginning of the episode with Natalie doing the most, I could already tell that they're not gonna last. They have so many problems. But with that being said, the episode was pretty good. I learned a lot. I like that I only saw 4 couples. I hope I only see 4 couples because it's much easier to digest that way. But that's the end of my recap of 90 Day Fiance, period. Season 8, episode 1. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Maybe I could front love, maybe I could buy it, maybe I get fucked up. Next time I could save some. Why it's gotta be like this? Why it's gotta be that way? Put it inside. Feel so rise up, banging on that loud.